This assignment is for you to see if your grades for the criterion summatives are correct in both Google Classroom and PowerSchool. So with this Google Sheets, you can see at the top of it, there is a sample table that Mrs. Howell created and a sample double bar graph that for you to follow to see if your Google Classroom grades and your PowerSchool grades match. So for you to get your grades first, you need to go to both Google Classroom and PowerGrade and fill out the graph at the bottom. So for example, if you are this person, you are now looking for your grades for all of your criterion summatives. So for example, let's go to criterion C and look at what your grades are in both Google Classroom and PowerSchool. So if this is you and you go to your Google Classroom and you go to classwork, make sure that you go to quarter 3 summatives, and all of the 4 summatives should have your grades there. And if you open one up, then you will see that the grade is right underneath my name, under the title of the summative, right here. Okay, so for this grade, this is a 6 out of 8. So go back to the assignment, Google Sheets, and for criteria C under Google Sheets, Google Classroom, you will type in a 6, and then go to PowerSchool and sign in first. So here's some grades, and go to your science grades, and you will see that your score for the criterion C summative is here. Here's the sample one, it's 6 out of 8. So go back to your Google Sheets assignment and fill in the PowerSchool grade, which is also a 6. So do that for the rest of your criterion summatives. So for example, if you got a 3 for your criterion A, you had a 5 for your criterion B, and then you have a 7 for your criterion D. And make sure that you check both Google Classroom and PowerSchool to make sure that both grades are the same. So once you got that in, you can select these cells starting from Science Quarter 3 summatives to the PowerSchool grade and all the way down to the last number of your criterion summative. And then click on the insert chart and make sure that you choose column chart on the chart type. Don't do a line graph, but do a column chart. All right, and that will show you your grades in a bar graph, and you can resize that. And you can even color it, customize, go to chart style and choose a color, a background color, and that will show you at a glance, if your grades for Google Classroom and PowerSchool match. If they don't match, make sure you email Mrs. Howell so that I can double check and correct your grades.